Hi, so this video general was supposed to be about the market model. And the market model is like the division of this that is market driven, media funded, and through ad revenue. So like basic like television stations, anything that you have to pay for like ad time. This is how these companies get their money. And the first question is, in a democratic society, should news be treated as a business first? Why or why not? From a consumer standpoint, I don't think that news should be treated as a business first thing, because personally, I want to know the things that are most important to me, not the things that are most important to the company. And a lot of times that's what happens is these companies will talk about, or these news stations will talk about what is most important to them based on their sponsorships and their their sponsorships and the people who pay them to keep that show or that news show on the air, and that may not pertain to the most important thing at that point in time. Like a good example is probably like Hurricane Sandy. Like they may have been talking about something that happened to one of their like news places, and it may not be as important as what happened down into the Jersey Shore. Or they may be talking about their political beliefs on the situation, where they could be talking about the suffrage that is going on in certain places. So that is definitely, I think that it should be not be business first, but I think a lot of these places are. And that kind of ties into the second question: what are the benefits and dangers of operating news media outlets as business driven by their responsibility to owners to attract audiences and advertisers to bring in revenues and profits? So obviously a lot of these places will act on it as a business first, because they want to continue to keep their sponsorships. Because if they, for example, if they say something that maybe their ad sponsor doesn't like, then they could get dropped and they could lose that sponsorship money or whatever they're giving them, and that could cause them to lose revenue. It could benefit them doing business first, because maybe someone will start watching a particular news program because they have a sponsorship with a product that they are like that they have product affinity to. So for example, say like Coca-Cola works with NBC News and they promote this on their show, on their news show, then maybe more people who have a product affinity with Coke will continue to watch that show, bringing their ratings up and their number of viewers up. But for the most part, I feel that even if they do if they're doing things like this, it could ultimately harm the people who, not harm, but it may not be as good for the people who are watching, because they may not get the things that are most important to them. Like I said before, they're getting the things that are most important to their business, to the person's businesses. And the third question is the news information you receive biased based on the American model? And I definitely think, based on the American model, that it is biased, because you're getting what those sponsorship companies want you to hear and or see, which definitely focuses on like media framing. Because if this company wants you to see it a certain way and doesn't want you to, if they want you to take it in a better light than maybe it really is, then that can definitely affect how they portray it to the people. Whereas if it weren't biased, it would be a neutral view. And it may not be bias that is intentional, but I definitely think that there is a bias, and that it is something that happens on a regular basis with these companies that with these news companies that have these sponsorships. Like these places can't have a neutral view, because somehow their opinions and their thoughts and beliefs will always get put into what they're doing. So even if they're trying to be as neutral as possible, what the ad companies want them to, how the ad companies want them to act, will definitely end up coming out, because they're going to continue to place things and talk about things how they see them and how they believe them. And the perfect example is definitely the election. One of the examples we always use in class is like Fox, how they always are a more like right-wing news station. And if the products that the companies that sponsor them are more right-wing, they're not going to want them to start promoting things that are left-wing because they typically swing towards the right, which is fine. It's just they're not going to start saying things that would necessarily promote Barack Obama. And I think that it's something that's almost inevitable for any place to not have a little bit of bias, because they're not going to be able to take out their sponsorships' beliefs.